Hey, a little bit of sauce, a little bit of cake with some holes in it, and we are making Kentucky butter cake. It's full of butter, full of fun, full of sweet. Let's make it right now. Okay, this one's from scratch. We need some flour, baking soda, baking powder, some eggs, butter, buttermilk, some sugar, and a little bit of vanilla extract. I think I got just enough in the bottom of that to get us through our recipe. So the first thing we're going to do is make our buttermilk. I don't have any, so we're making it. But that's about 3/4 cup of sour cream. And I just topped it up with milk. That'll give me the cup I need. And we mix it together. It seemed to work just fine when I did it, so we'll put that aside. Next up we need our bowl. And this is 3 cups of flour. A teaspoon of baking powder, and along with that goes a 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, and I didn't put it in so you could see it here, but just before the end. You also need a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and we'll put that aside. Now we've got to cream our butter. So there's our sticks of butter, our heavy artillery. I've got another bowl, and I'm going to warm up the butter just because I know how much fun it is. So that was 20 seconds in the microwave. It's pretty well all melted now. It's still got some volume to it, so this should work out just fine. Into our bowl goes 2 cups of sugar, and now we get to cream it, which is just combining the sugar and the butter together. And I find this way it doesn't make as big of a mess. What do I know? I'm not really the baker of the family, but it works out. So there you go, and that's creaming it in real time too. I didn't speed it up. It really, if you've melted half the butter, it doesn't take that long to combine it all. Yeah, it might be a little gritty, but I'm sure as we keep going on, it's not going to be. Now we have 4 eggs, and we're going to crack them into the batter one at a time and mix it. And once again, it really doesn't take that long to combine each of the eggs. But the recipe says you've got to do them one at a time, and we will. Now, take a look at the batter as we keep adding the eggs. I want you to see how thick it's going to end up getting. Because by the last one, the batter's pretty thick at that point. It's not light and fluffy like a cake box mix. Well, there's number 3. Just like that. And now you can see how thick it is right now. So here's our last egg. To that I'm going to throw in 2 teaspoons-ish of the vanilla. And we'll put a little extra in. It's not going to hurt it. There we go. Now we'll mix her. And with the vanilla, it really smells good too. So we make sure that's nice and combined. You can see how much smoother it is than when it started, but it's also a lot thicker than it was too. So that's good. So now we've got to put in 1/3 of our buttermilk and 1/3 of the flour. So we're going to do that 3 times and then mix. And then the last time, dump the rest of our buttermilk and flour in. And now we have pretty well our batter once we get it all scraped off the sides and well mixed. Yeah, it might take a little longer than a box, but the taste is going to be out of this world. So we've got our square cake pan. I'm going to grease it up with some cooking spray. Flour it up like my mom taught me many years ago. You grease her up and then you flour it up. There you go. And now we got to get that batter in there. So we're going to carefully take our bowl and slowly dump our batter out. See how thick it is? It's amazing how thick it really is. I don't know how well this is going to rise at this point, but It doesn't exactly just flow towards the corners. I've got to help it out a little bit. I think that's pretty well close enough. We're not going to get perfect no matter what we try. All right, into the oven she goes. 350 for 55 to 70 minutes depending. And when you pull it out, you got to check. So I've got my toothpick. Looks clean on the one side. We check the other side just to be sure. Looks good. We got us a winner. On to our butter sauce. So we've got another stick of butter. Unwrap it. And we're going to chop this one up. Now, I guess I could have melted it too, but I don't know. I just figured since it's going in a pot, it should melt fairly quick. I'm just kind of trying to help it along by chopping it up. Into our measuring cup, I need 1 cup of sugar. I don't have it, so that was the rest of my sugar. I went for brown sugar only to find out I didn't have much of that either, so I poured out the end of that bag, which was a little over a cup by the time we were done. I probably could have done the whole thing in just brown sugar, but that's okay. Over to our pot. That is a 1/4 cup of water and our big cup of sugar. Well, most of it. Some still stuck in the bottom, so I figured I'd melt that first and then get the rest in. Now onto our butter. So that's 1 stick of butter, and we're just going to cook it down till it melts. And doesn't that look good? Smells great. Now last thing is we need our extracts. And the recipe calls for vanilla extract and almond extract. Well, I only had vanilla. So rather than use 1.5 teaspoons of each, if you got it, great. I just did 3 teaspoons of vanilla, which pretty well wiped out that bottle. And then you just mix it into the sauce. Butter sauce. Now here's the fun part. We've got our cake, and somehow that sauce has to absorb into the cake. So I've got my wooden fork. I'm going to punch holes into this cake. And as I'm doing it, because I've never actually tried this before, but it occurs to me that these are pretty big holes. Maybe I should have gotten something a little smaller. I'm not sure what I could have used. Now I started by spooning it little by little, and it all kind of went towards the corner. And of course, if I would have just kind of put half on, let it absorb, and kind of done it in little lifts, I would have been fine. But oh no, I couldn't do that. And you can see there how it all absorbed into the cake. So now I'm dying to find out, because I'm sure the corner pieces are going to be full of this butter sauce. So we're going to carefully cut our cake. I think I'm just going to do the ones on the end. Just 1 row, just to start. And then we'll carefully pry up the corner. Come on, come on. The first piece is always the toughest. Comes out pretty clean. I'm liking what I'm seeing right now. Look at that. Yummy. This looks good. I mean, it smells really good too. And there it is, our butter cake. Kentucky butter cake. Who would have thought? Hey, another great recipe. I hope you'll give it a try. Leave me a comment below, one way or the other. Listen, if you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell, because that'll tell you the next time I upload a video. Feel free to share this in any of my other videos. And thanks for stopping by and watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.